Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes for the Nintendo GameCube. In the last episode, we finished off Team Sonic's story, which means that it is now time to move on to Team Dark's story. Featuring, returning from Sonic Adventure 2, we have Shadow the Hedgehog and Rouge the Bat, along with newcomer E123 Omega, pretty much an upgrade from Gamma from Adventure 1. And Team Dark is, well, Omachow.
Team Dark stages are more difficult and recommended for the intermediate players.
Okay, so Team Dark is essentially the hard mode of the game. Their stages last longer, there's more emphasis on combat than Team Sonic. Other than that, they are pretty much the same as Team Sonic in every other way. But we'll get more into that as we actually start their story.
I'm counting on you guys!
Affirmative.
This must be it. I found Eggman's secret treasure!
Eradicate all Eggman robots.
Hey, hold up!
Now I get it. Now I know what this is all about. You're mad at Eggman for sealing you in this room. And you can't remember anything, can you? Then it's settled. Now you two make up so we can start looking for Eggman together. Oh yeah, baby, this makes us a team.
Can I just start by saying that I love Omega? Like, he is one of my favourite characters in the series. He's pretty much just a moving destruction machine, as we will be seeing throughout this entire playthrough.
You two ready?
Warning. Immediate destruction if distracted.
Hope you can keep up with me.
From Shadow, everybody pretty much goes at the same speed in this game when you're in the lead. So, not really a problem. Anyway, Team Dark. Now, unlike Sonic Adventure 2, the Dark Side story does not take place across different levels than the Hero Side story, although they're pretty much the same sort of thing anyway. Every team goes through the exact same set of levels. The general difference is just going to be the length of the level and the number of enemies you'll encounter, as well as the kinds of enemies you'll encounter. Many of the same secrets will still be there. That extra life is there for every single team. This Trail of Rings is it's here for most teams. I don't think Team Chaotix have it. And I don't think Team Rose have it either. But we'll be seeing that later on. So Team Dark has a lot more focus on combat. Their moveset is exactly the same as Team Sonic's. Everything Shadow can do, everything Sonic could do, Shadow can now do, because, well, you know, he's essentially a Dark Sonic. Everything Rouge can do, Tails did before, and almost everything Omega could do is what Knuckles could do before. They're more or less the same thing. That's actually pretty much my biggest critique with Team Dark. They don't really have enough that makes them different from Team Sonic. Because Team Rose have a few differences between the characters, and Team Chaotix are very similar to them. But there is enough of a difference. Like, SPO has his invisibility, Amy has her hammer. There's enough of a difference, but Team Sonic and Team Dark are pretty much one and the same. Because the only major difference really with Team Sonic and Team Dark is just the fact that Omega slides a lot more than Knuckles does during his combos. And Knuckles already slid around a lot. So Omega is even more slippery. I mean, I love his level 3 combo finisher, but unfortunately in order to do that I still have to slide around all over the place. And Knuckles did that as well, but with Knuckles you could mash the B button and that would allow you to that would allow you to attack enemies with more ease. You can't do that with Omega. You have to slide around all over the place. It put you in a bit more control for Knuckles, I think that's what I'm trying to say. But you can't do that with Omega. And in terms of story, Team Dark probably has the biggest story in terms of how complex it is, which doesn't mean very much because Sonic Heroes is very lacking in story. But there's not much of it for Team Dark, but it's definitely the biggest. There is a bit more plot going on. Essentially, as Rouge told us in the previous cutscene, she's searching for Eggman's treasure. Don't know how she found out about it. We don't really know what it is, and we can only assume that what she finds at the end of the story is the treasure. It's not exactly a treasure, but that's all we can assume, because otherwise we never see it. And whilst exploring wherever that place was, she stumbles across Shadow. Why Shadow is in there, we don't know. But Shadow seems to be suffering from amnesia. I mean, in all fairness, he was suffering from amnesia in Adventure 2, but now he's suffering from even more amnesia. I mean, they never bring up Maria or Gerald or the Ark or anything like that in this game. But as Shadow the Hedgehog will come to tell us, he doesn't really remember any of it. Fortunately, because he doesn't remember Maria or anything like that, he doesn't decide to seek revenge on humanity for no reason. Like he does in Adventure 2. It's like, Maria, you told me to bring order to these humans. That means destroy them, right? Yeah, we have none of that. That Shadow's appearance here pretty much is just, we're making a Shadow game. So we're going to bring him back here first so that it makes sense. Even though our Shadow game makes no sense at all. Let's bring him in here just so people don't get too confused. Because Shadow was supposed to die at the end of Sonic Adventure 2, but unexpected fan popularity pretty much brought him back almost immediately. I can't recall which came first, whether it was Sonic Heroes or Sonic Battle. But Sonic Battle had the excuse of being like a spin-off fighting game. So I can understand Shadow being in that. But he's just back here, he's perfectly fine other than the amnesia. He seems to remember how to move around and everything, he remembers all of his abilities. He even remembers Chaos Control, because that is in fact their Team Blast. This is known as Chaos Inferno. Shadow performs Chaos Control, while Rouge is for some reason spinning Omega around, whilst he fires some sort of giant balloon laser. I'm not sure why Rouge needs to spin around for that, because Omega spins around for his final attack in the fire combo anyway. So why she needs to spin Omega around is beyond me, but she does. And what the Chaos Inferno does is it causes Chaos Control. Similar to Team Sonic's light attack, as the meter goes down, everything freezes. So all the enemies will stay in place, the timer stays in place. You can abuse it to get pretty good time bonuses, can help you out with getting the A ranks. Unfortunately, one thing that can be a problem with the Chaos Control is that it does freeze everything, and that includes doors, that includes poles. Fortunately, if you press the Z button again whilst the meter is going down, you can cancel the Chaos Control. So if there's any point you get stuck, which is very likely to happen in the stages like Egg Fleet, it won't be too much of a problem. And I grabbed the special stage key for some reason. Normally this is how I play Sonic Heroes. I just go into every special stage with every scene. We don't need to do this. Right. But this is how they want you to play the bonus stages. You can boost all the way through them, but you don't get as many points by doing that. You don't even fill up your time. You don't even extend your timer that much. So I'm going to try and stop myself from going into all of the special stages with every single team, because this is how I rack up lives in Sonic Heroes, but that's not really a problem. I can get my lives in Sonic Heroes pretty easily. There's plenty of 1-ups, there's plenty of rings. I don't find myself getting hit too often, so it's not really going to be that big of a deal if I don't go through all the special stages. Because even though Team Dark is the hard mode, it's really not that difficult. Generally all it means is just more enemies. That's about it. There aren't really any more difficult areas in terms of level design or anything like that. The only difference really they'll have compared to Team Sonic is the enemies, and some of their stages will last a bit longer. Most of them are the same length though. It's generally just going to be because you're fighting more enemies that you have to beat. Their stages will take longer, but in terms of the overall distance, most of their stages are the same. Like, we started in the same area in Seaside Hill. We finished on Whale Island. I have no idea what is going on here. I hate these special stages so much. There are a few exceptions. Bullet Station is definitely one of the most notable there. They actually do have a considerable amount of level before we get to where Team Sonic started. That would be about 2/3 of the way into Team Dark's stage. And it's also where Team Rouge will begin their version of Bullet Station. So Team Dark definitely has quite a long Bullet Station. Rail Canyon starts not quite as far back, but theirs is a bit longer there as well. So I don't get nearly the amount of points as I would normally do here. And in some cases, I actually find Team Dark to be a bit easier than Team Sonic. We'll be seeing more of that as we go through. Okay, one awkward transition later. We're in Ocean Palace. Unfortunately, I ended up dying right at the end of the level. Don't you just love it when that sort of thing happens? No, you don't. You hate it, and it's really annoying, and now you have to do the entire stage all over again. And I don't even remember a single thing I just said during that past 4 minutes. But anyway, Ocean Palace is... this level has the highest A rank in the entire game. This one is 90,000. And it's a pretty difficult one to get. This one definitely... and somehow Shadow went back there. I don't know what happened there. It's a pretty difficult one to get, but still not too bad. As long as you just take out everything that's in your path, score as many bonus points as you can, and you generally need to complete the level in under 6 minutes. That's pretty much your way of getting the A rank in Ocean Palace. There are levels I would say are harder than this to A rank. What I'm not sure of though is whether or not it's possible to actually get 100,000 in this stage. I've never quite done it. I wonder if you're super fast, you may still be able to just about get 100,000. The highest I've ever gotten is about 96,000. What the? Shadow? Okay, that's never happened before. What happened there? I couldn't destroy them for some reason. But yeah, so what you want to do is you want to try and score as many bonus points as possible. I think I went a bit too fast there, so we're going to be getting 1,000 points less. Because even when you're going through the main level, you're still, if you keep attacking everything in your way, you're still going to be getting a good 55,000 or so. Probably even into the 60,000. So I don't know what it is, but for some reason when you hit the goal ring, you suddenly find yourself getting like an extra 8,000 points. And it's like, is the goal ring worth points? It's something I never understood. Because like the other day I was testing out Team Dark's final level, Final Fortress. And I finished the stage with like 61,000, and then after, when the results screen appeared, I suddenly had like 68,000. It's like, where did I get these extra points from? I still don't know. I don't think it's ring bonus. Because it doesn't tell you there's ring bonus in this game. So is it like the goal ring has points? It's just something I never understood. Anyway, Team Dark's Team Blast is known as Chaos Inferno. And what it does is Shadow will unleash Chaos Control, and then Rouge will spin around Omega while he fires some kind of giant pink laser bubble thing. Even though Omega's final attack of the fire combination, he spins around in place anyway. I don't know why he needs to have Rouge spinning him around. But, because I guess just to give Rouge a purpose, it's called Team Blast. And since she's the one that says that this makes them a team, she needs to play a part in it somehow. What I do question is where Shadow got that Chaos Emerald from. Like, Team Dark, you can do any team in any order, so you could potentially do Team Dark first, in which case you wouldn't have been able to collect a Chaos Emerald yet. So how did Team Dark how did Shadow get that Chaos Emerald? But I don't remember him being the one with the fake emerald. Unless it was something we didn't see in Sonic Adventure 2. We never do know what happens to that fake emerald after Sonic uses it. But I highly doubt he would have given it to Shadow. So I don't know how he got that, but fortunately, even though Shadow has amnesia, he knows how to use Chaos Control. And much like Team Sonic, with the light speed attack, when the meter is going down after you use Team Blast, the Chaos Control will freeze everything until the meter runs out. And while this is a good thing because it freezes enemies in place, it also stops the timer. The one issue that comes from this is that it also stops everything else. And that includes things like doors and poles. Fortunately, if you press the Z button whilst it's going down, you can cancel the Chaos Control. So if at any point it impedes your progress, which it's very likely to do in levels such as Egg Fleet and Final Fortress, a simple tap of the Z button and you can get a move on. But otherwise, I would recommend using it since it does freeze enemies. It freezes the timer, so it can help with getting a bigger time bonus. It also doesn't last as long as Team Sonic, because Team Sonic's Team Blast tends to drag a little bit. But it freezes it in place. Unfortunately, this thing has I think this thing does have a bit of a rubber band AI. Or it can just flat out disappear like that. But that's a new one, I've never seen that before. I think it is like really far in the background. Like it is on its way down, but I can't see it. Apparently those things are called like KO or cow. I'm not sure you pronounce it. Whoa! But I've never seen that before. I almost looked like my Chaos Control actually lasted a bit longer than it should have done there. Anyway, let's see. Okay, we're good. In 90,000, the highest in the entire game. But there are stages 14 Dark that can get you 100,000 points pretty easily. Power Plants and Final Fortress are the levels I've been able to do it in, but I do wonder if it is possible to get it in this stage. I mean, that's the fastest I think I've ever beaten Ocean Palace. And that wasn't the highest score I've ever gotten. I didn't get all of the bonus points I should have done then. So I do wonder if it is possible. But I don't really know.
So, you're the ones who are playing games with my army.
Primary target detected. Destroy Dr. Eggman.
You must be Omega. Is that any way to treat your creator? Now witness your master's real power.
Interesting. Eggman is acting like he's only meeting Omega for the first time. He's like, you must be Omega. Well, we've already watched Team Sonic. We know it's Metal Sonic. You know, this could be the first time that we're encountering Eggman. So we don't know that it's Metal Sonic yet, except that we've already seen Metal Sonic in the title screen, but we may not have seen the title screen. Or the title video, I should say. But anyway, the Egghawk is pretty much the same as it was for teams. Well, the Egghawk's pretty much the same for each team anyway. The camera's not helping me here, though. The only real difference that there will be with the boss fights is generally just the number of enemies that you'll encounter. So there are a lot more enemies there than there was for Team Sonic. Team Rose will have barely any. Team Chaotix about the same as Team Sonic. And that's the case with the Egg Albatross and the Egg Emperor. The main different ones will be the Robot Carnival and Robot Storm. They'll be quite different.